chosen one. This is not a coincidence. You were led here by divine appointment, handpicked by heaven to receive this revelation. Right now, you stand at the edge of a supernatural awakening, the moment when years of delay turn into divine acceleration, when hidden preparation becomes visible prosperity. The Spirit of the Lord declares, "I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten." Joel 2:25. This is not just another message, it's your confirmation. The heavens are aligning, the transfer is in motion, and your name is written on it. Prepare your heart, anointed one. Your real life begins now. Chosen one, hear this with your spirit. You are not watching this by chance. Heaven timed this moment perfectly. Everything you've endured up to now has been leading to this turning point. The first half of your life was training. This next half is transformation. You are not behind. You are being aligned. For so many years, you fought battles you didn't understand. You held on when everyone else let go. You survived seasons that were meant to destroy you, and through it all, you were being shaped in silence. Every delay was divine. Every loss had purpose. Every unanswered prayer was God saying, "Wait, I'm building you first." At 40, something shifts. It's not just age, it's awakening. You begin to see that what once broke you was actually breaking open your destiny. The people who left, the doors that closed, the dreams that fell apart, all of it was heaven clearing space for what truly belongs to you. The art of letting go becomes sacred. You no longer beg to stay where peace has left. You no longer chase what drains your spirit. You have learned that when God removes something, He's making room for something holy. You now understand that release is not loss, it's love. The hands that once clutched in fear are now open in surrender. You're done fighting for things that are not divinely assigned to your soul. What's meant for you will recognize you. What's aligned with you will remain. And now, as your spirit matures, something else breaks the illusion of time. Society taught you to rush to prove, to reach certain milestones before a certain age. But at 40, heaven whispers, "Be still." You are exactly where you need to be. Time no longer rules you, it serves you. The ticking clock becomes a divine rhythm, not a threat. You no longer chase the future, you move with it. Because you finally understand destiny is never late. When you trust divine timing, the anxiety fades. You stop comparing your journey to anyone else's because you realize your story was written in eternity, not on a calendar. There is no delay in heaven, only design. You were hidden for a reason, protected, not punished. This is when your purpose begins to reveal itself. What once seemed random now forms a pattern. The failures, the detours, the heartbreaks, they start to make sense. You realize that the very pain that humbled you also prepared you. Every storm trained your discernment. Every loss purified your heart. And now what once confused you begins to connect like divine code. Chosen one purpose doesn't arrive with noise. It rises like dawn, quiet but unstoppable. You no longer ask, "Why did this happen to me?" Instead you whisper, "Now I see." You finally understand that God was not delaying your life. He was developing your character. And now that you carry the strength, the empathy, and the wisdom born from fire, heaven can finally trust you with the promise. At 40, you no longer seek validation from anyone. You've outgrown the need to be understood. You've learned that peace is more precious than popularity. Your spirit is settled. You no longer need permission to be who you are because you know exactly who you are, chosen, refined, and unstoppable. This is the point where the old you fades and the divine you rises. You live with intention. You speak with clarity. You walk in quiet authority. You no longer react, you discern. You no longer rush, you trust. You no longer live for others, you live for the calling. I know this transformation because I've lived it. I once feared that I was too late, that my best years were behind me. But heaven whispered, "You are right on time." And it was true. Once I stopped striving, things began to flow. What I chased for years began to find me. And I realized something sacred: when the vessel is ready, the blessing doesn't have to be forced. Chosen one. This is your moment of readiness. Heaven has seen your tears, your endurance, your growth. Now the reward comes not as luck but as law. The harvest is due. The divine transfer begins. You are stepping into the season of manifestation, where everything you've prayed for quietly begins to appear, not because you forced it, but because you finally become the person who can carry it. This is your awakening. This is your divine middle where everything starts to bloom at once. The waiting was never wasted. The preparation is complete, and the heaven that once felt silent is about to answer you loudly. Chosen one, your real life begins now. Chosen one. When you reach this sacred point in your journey, something extraordinary begins to awaken inside of you. Your spiritual power intensifies. It's not the kind of power the world chases. It's not loud, flashy, or built on titles. It's quiet, steady, divine. You start to feel things more deeply, sense things before they happen, and recognize patterns that others overlook. The veil between heaven and earth begins to thin, and you realize that your life has always been guided by invisible hands. The distractions that once pulled your focus no longer tempt you. The noise of the world, the gossip, the chaos, the competition loses its hold over your peace. You see now that not every battle deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves your response. You've learned the sacred art of silence, and in that silence, your discernment sharpens. You can feel when something aligns with your spirit and when it doesn't. That's not coincidence, that's divine sensitivity. By 40, your energy becomes powerful in ways most can't explain. You begin to understand that your peace is a weapon, your presence shifts rooms, and your words carry weight. When you speak with conviction, things move. When you pray with faith, the atmosphere changes. You start to attract people and opportunities that resonate with your highest vibration. Heaven responds to maturity, and you've reached it. I've seen this happen not just in myself, but in others who've reached this stage. Suddenly, what once felt blocked begins to flow. Finances stabilize. Relationships align. The right doors open without striving. This isn't luck, it's divine rhythm. When your inner world becomes aligned, your outer world mirrors it. The spiritual realm begins to honor your energy because you finally honor yourself. Chosen one. You must understand your power doesn't come from effort. It comes from alignment. You don't need to chase. You only need to stay tuned to the frequency of heaven. And at this stage of your life, your spirit is finally quiet enough to hear the guidance that was always there. Now, solitude begins to feel sacred. In your younger years, being alone might have felt like loneliness, but now it feels like peace. The silence that once scared you now restores you. You understand that solitude is not emptiness. It's intimacy with the divine. It's where you recharge, where your ideas are born, where your spirit listens to heaven without interruption. When you walk alone now, you don't feel abandoned. You feel accompanied. The presence of God becomes your constant companion. You start to see how the isolation you once hated was actually protection. God was not removing people to punish you. He was preserving you, because not everyone could walk at the frequency you were called to carry. In solitude, you discover something profound. You are never truly alone. Spirit, the universe, the divine source within you, is always speaking, guiding, and whispering truth into your soul. You've learned to recognize that voice now. It doesn't shout, it flows. It calms your fear. It sharpens your vision. It reminds you that you are loved, chosen, and seen. And finally, at 40, something breaks open in your heart. You begin to live for yourself. Not selfishly, but truthfully. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop apologizing for your peace, your strength, your wisdom. You stop asking for permission to be powerful. You realize that living for others' expectations was a cage, and you were never meant to live caged. This is the age of release, where you reclaim your voice, your rhythm, your joy. You start saying no without guilt, yes without fear, and maybe without pressure. You begin to honor what your soul wants, not what society demands. You no longer measure success by numbers or applause. You measure it by alignment, peace, and purpose. I've met many who told me life begins at 40, but for the chosen ones, it's deeper than that. It's not just life that begins, it's divine partnership. Heaven begins to move with you. The Spirit begins to trust you with more More revelation, more responsibility, more favor. Because now you're not chasing glory, you're walking in grace. Chosen one, what's coming is bigger than recovery, it's restoration. The things you thought were gone forever will return, but better. You'll see doors open that were once locked. You'll see people come to you for wisdom, for healing, for guidance. You'll become the voice that once comforted you in your darkest season. And when you look back, you'll realize nothing was wasted. Every year was a seed, every loss was a lesson, and every delay was divine. Now the harvest has come. The life that truly belongs to you begins here. Chosen one. You've crossed the threshold. You're not in transition anymore. You're in transformation. And the best part, you haven't even seen the fullness of what's waiting for you. Heaven's plan is unfolding, and you're the miracle in motion. Chosen one, now that you've entered this divine threshold, you must understand everything you endured before was preparation for purpose. You didn't suffer without reason. You were being trained for a level of influence, peace, and authority that could not have been formed in comfort. You carry oil that only pressure could produce. At 40, your spirit begins to operate differently. You no longer live reactively, you move prophetically. Every decision now flows from wisdom, not emotion. You've been through enough to recognize the cycles that once trapped you. The patterns of self-doubt, the need to be understood, the desire to please everyone, they fade like smoke in the wind. The old self dissolves, and what emerges is clarity. You begin to see life not as a battle to win, but as a mission to fulfill. You're no longer striving to prove your worth. You know now that you were chosen not because you were perfect, but because you were willing. Heaven doesn't select the flawless, it anoints the faithful. Every trial that humbled you was heaven testing your endurance. Every silence you endured was the sound of heaven trusting you. I remember reaching this stage myself, realizing that what I once prayed for in desperation had already begun unfolding quietly, piece by piece. God was not ignoring me, He was aligning me. Sometimes divine answers don't come as thunder, they come as transformation. And that's what this stage of your life is, the quiet unfolding of destiny. You no longer need to chase validation. You are rooted now. Your peace has become sacred ground. When others misunderstand you, you no longer explain, you simply remain. You know that what is real will reveal itself in time, and that time is finally here. The wisdom you carry now is not just for you, it's for others who are still walking where you once stumbled. Your story has become a map. Your survival has become someone else's instruction. You speak with a calm authority that only comes from having walked through fire and not been consumed. That is the mark of a true chosen one, not that they escaped the storm, but that they became the calm within it. At 40, heaven begins to multiply your influence. Doors that were once closed now open without you knocking. People who once overlooked you begin to seek your voice. What changed? You did. You stopped chasing what wasn't meant for you, and the energy you used to spend on proving yourself is now attracting divine opportunities. You're not forcing your way anymore. You're flowing your way into purpose. And as your alignment deepens, the realm of the supernatural begins to respond. You notice how your thoughts manifest faster, how your prayers carry more power, how peace precedes every breakthrough. It's not magic, it's mastery, spiritual maturity. When you've been refined this long, heaven trusts you with acceleration. You are not who you were 10 years ago. That version of you needed validation. This version needs vision. You now live in surrender, not in striving. The blessing doesn't come because you chase it. It comes because you've become the person who can sustain it. Heaven rewards wholeness. Chosen one. This next season of your life is not about survival. It's about stewardship. What God is about to release through you, the wisdom, the provision, the influence is meant to bless more than just you. You are stepping into the era of legacy. The choices you make now will echo for generations. You've mastered the early lessons, endurance, surrender, and trust. Now comes the divine reward impact. You'll start to see that every place you walk carries a new authority. Your presence brings calm. Your words bring light. And your story brings hope. This is why your life truly begins at 40, because now you're not just living, you're leading. You've been purified enough to carry God's glory without pride, to carry wealth without corruption, to carry wisdom without fear. Chosen one, this is the unveiling. Heaven is not just blessing you, it's revealing you. The hidden years are over. The silent season is complete. You are the vessel heaven has been preparing, and now the world will finally see what heaven has always known you were chosen for this exact moment in time. Chosen one, as you step deeper into this divine season, something sacred happens. Your soul begins to rest while your spirit begins to rise. The constant pressure to prove, to fix, to explain finally dissolves. You start to live from the inside out. The world may still look chaotic, but within you there is stillness, strength, and certainty. That is the sign of maturity, when storms no longer shake you, because you have become the calm. You have learned what few ever do. Peace is not found in perfect circumstances. It's found in divine alignment. You can sit in silence now and feel God's presence moving through you. You no longer question the waiting. You understand that heaven works best in hiddenness. Every quiet season was a womb for rebirth. Every lonely moment was a lesson in listening. In your younger years, you mistook busyness for purpose. You thought the more you did, the closer you were to destiny. But now you see the truth. Your purpose was never about doing, it was about becoming. Heaven doesn't reward exhaustion, it rewards obedience. And when you finally stop running, you begin to walk in rhythm with divine timing. Chosen one. This is why things are beginning to accelerate around you, because peace is the new power. You're no longer chasing miracles, you are becoming one. Every word you speak, every action you take now carries a different frequency. You have learned the rhythm of heaven, and because of that, life is responding to you differently. People may not understand it, but they will feel it. They will notice that when you walk into a room, something shifts. You don't need to announce yourself anymore. Your energy speaks louder than your words. That's what happens when the fire of refinement turns into light. The same experiences that once broke you have now made you unshakable. At 40, your heart is wiser, softer, and stronger all at once. You love deeper, but with discernment. You give generously, but with boundaries. You forgive quickly, but without returning to the same places that hurt you. You've learned that protection is not rejection, it's direction, and you trust the Spirit to remove whatever no longer serves your peace. I remember reaching this stage, the clarity was startling. I realized I didn't need to fight every battle or explain every choice. My silence began to speak louder than my defense. And in that silence, blessings began to move. Divine connections appeared. Unexpected provision arrived. It wasn't coincidence, it was the fruit of alignment. Chosen one. This is where you are now. Heaven is rewarding your endurance. You're entering a realm of supernatural ease, not because life becomes simple, but because your spirit has learned to flow with grace instead of resistance. You no longer pray for escape, you pray for strength. You no longer ask, why me? You say, use me. And heaven is answering. Opportunities that once passed you by will begin to find you. Ideas you buried will start to come alive again. Dreams that seemed impossible will begin to unfold naturally. Why? Because now your spirit and your assignment are in harmony. This is not just another chapter. This is your emergence. The years of refining have ended. The years of reigning have begun. The anointing you carry now is seasoned with patience, wisdom, and humility, the kind of power the world cannot imitate. Chosen one. Your real journey doesn't end at 40, it begins. Heaven has waited for this version of you, the healed you, the grounded you, the fearless you. From here on, life won't just happen to you. It will flow through you. You've become the vessel heaven trusts. The preparation is over. The promise has begun. Chosen one, this next part of your journey is where divine power meets earthly purpose. You are stepping into a new rhythm now, one that doesn't just change your life, but transforms every space you touch. You've been trained in silence, refined through pain, and humbled through process. And now the light that once flickered inside you burns steady. Heaven has found its resting place within your spirit. At 40, your soul becomes both sanctuary and sword. You are no longer easily moved by fear because you've walked through the fire and discovered that it cannot consume what God Himself has sealed. You move differently now, slower, calmer, yet far more precise. You no longer chase opportunities, you attract them. The frequency of your faith now calls forth what once ran from you. You begin to notice how the things you once fought for now arrive without force. People start to seek your presence, not for what you do, but for who you become. That's divine magnetism, the spiritual authority of a chosen one who has surrendered completely. And that surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. Because by 40, you've learned that control is an illusion and trust is power. You finally understand the mystery of divine timing. Everything that seemed delayed now unfolds in perfect order. You realize that the prayers God didn't answer were acts of mercy. He was saving you from smaller versions of what you asked for. You no longer question His no because you've lived long enough to see how every closed door was a shield, not a rejection. This new level of awareness brings peace but also purpose. You don't wake up wishing life were different anymore. You wake up grateful that you're different. You no longer ask for blessing just to feel safe. You ask for them so you can bless others. You begin to sense that everything you've gained, the wisdom, the resources, the platform was entrusted to you for impact. I've seen this shift happen in my own life. I used to pray for freedom from struggle, but what I received was endurance. I asked for success, but God gave me strategy. I asked for love, and He taught me solitude first. Every prayer was answered, but in higher form than I imagined. That's what divine maturity looks like, realizing heaven always exceeds what the flesh requests. Chosen one, the same will happen for you. What you thought was the end of something will become the beginning of everything. The relationships that faded will be replaced with divine partnerships. The dreams that once frightened you will become the assignments that define you. The finances that felt unstable will begin to flow, not through striving, but through spiritual alignment. The divine transfer has already begun. Your obedience was the key that unlocked it. This is the season where favor becomes your normal. The weight you used to carry is now lifted, and what once took years will begin to unfold in days. Don't question it, flow with it. The acceleration you feel isn't random. It's the momentum of prophecy catching up to you. For years, heaven recorded your faithfulness in secret. Now it's time for visible reward. But this isn't just about prosperity or position. It's about purpose fulfilled. You were not chosen just to rise, you were chosen to rebuild. Your voice will bring comfort to those still walking in darkness. Your story will remind others that delay is not denial, and your very presence will testify that it's never too late for divine beginnings. At 40, your life becomes a bridge between what was and what will be. You are both student and teacher, now carrying the lessons of your past and the light for others' futures. You live slower but deeper, quieter but stronger, because you finally know who you are and whose you are. Chosen one, this is your divine renaissance, a rebirth not of youth but of purpose. You are walking in grace that cannot be earned, favor that cannot be explained, and timing that cannot be missed. Everything that once broke you has bowed before you. You are not the same soul who entered the storm. You are the one who walked out carrying heaven's fire. Your journey doesn't end here. It begins with greater vision, greater peace, and greater power. For at 40, you no longer live for survival. You live for destiny. Chosen one, when you reach 40, something sacred begins to happen deep within your spirit. It's as if heaven itself exhales through you. You no longer chase answers. You begin to become one. The pain, the confusion, the years of striving, all of it starts to make sense. You realize that what once broke you was actually molding you, refining your vision, and preparing you for the divine work that only maturity could sustain. You've entered the age of divine clarity. The noise that once distracted you now fades into the background, and in its place comes peace, a quiet, confident, knowing that everything has already been written in your favor. You no longer live by reaction. You live by revelation. You feel what heaven feels, sense what others cannot see, and move with an inner rhythm, guided by purpose rather than pressure. At 40, discernment becomes your greatest gift. You can tell when something carries light or darkness, when a connection is destiny or distraction. You no longer fight for space in places where peace does not exist. You've learned that silence speaks louder than explanation, and walking away can be holier than winning. This is not bitterness, it's awareness. Your soul has learned that energy never lies. You begin to protect your peace like treasure. You stop apologizing for choosing quiet over chaos, distance over drama, solitude over noise. Because now you know peace is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of alignment. And once you've tasted divine alignment, you can never go back to chasing temporary relief. When I reached this stage, I felt an incredible shift. Life no longer felt like a mountain to climb, but a current to flow with. I stopped trying to control the direction of the river and started trusting the one who made it. And as soon as I surrendered, everything changed. The people meant for me appeared effortlessly. The opportunities that once felt impossible opened naturally. Heaven's rhythm replaced my resistance. That's what happens when you stop striving and start surrendering. Chosen one, that's your power, now surrendered strength. You're no longer forcing outcomes. You're allowing the divine plan to unfold through you. You realize that waiting is not wasting, it's positioning. The slower pace isn't punishment, it's precision. You move differently now because your faith has matured. You don't panic in uncertainty. You stand still until the Spirit moves. And the more you rest, the faster heaven works. Your energy is no longer scattered. Your prayers are no longer desperate. They are declarations, calm, confident, certain. You speak with authority because you've lived the lessons. You no longer pray for rescue, you pray for revelation. You no longer ask for a lighter load, you ask for stronger shoulders. That's spiritual adulthood. This level of maturity releases divine acceleration. Your manifestations appear faster because your spirit and heaven are finally synchronized. The universe trusts you now. You've proven through trials that you won't misuse the blessings you received. The same situations that once tested you now obey you. You've become a vessel of divine flow. At 40, you don't need recognition, you need resonance. You no longer seek applause, you seek authenticity. You stop performing and start being. You realize that real power isn't loud, it's light. The kind of light that walks quietly into a room and shifts the entire atmosphere without a word. So chosen one, guard that light. Nurture it. Don't waste your wisdom on chaos that no longer deserves your energy. The years have crowned you with understanding. You carry authority now, not from status, but from survival. Heaven can trust you because you've been tested. This is the promise of 40 peace without fear, power, without force, purpose, without confusion. You are not waiting for your miracle, you have become it. The life of a chosen one doesn't begin with youth or speed. It begins with surrender, clarity, and divine alignment. And that, beloved, is exactly where you are right now. Chosen one at 40, you begin to live from a deeper center, a place where your soul and destiny finally meet. You no longer live chasing outcomes. You live guided by inner revelation. This is the point in life when you stop being a seeker and start being a carrier of truth. You've gone through enough cycles, heartbreaks, and divine delays to finally understand that nothing about your journey was random. Every detour was design, every delay was direction, and every disappointment was divine preparation. The spiritual awakening that comes now is unlike anything before. It is not emotional, it's foundational. You begin to feel a powerful stability inside you. You no longer fear losing people, opportunities, or time. You recognize that what is truly meant for you cannot be taken. The years of spiritual refinement have turned your heart into sacred ground, and now heaven plants things in you that it could not before, visions, assignments, and ideas that require maturity to carry. You start to notice how your spirit operates differently. Where you once reacted with anxiety, you now respond with wisdom. When you used to beg for signs, you now walk in faith. You used to plead for open doors. Now you understand that you are the door that through your obedience others will find their way. You are not waiting for favor anymore. You have become its living embodiment. At this point in your journey, solitude becomes a throne room. You no longer feel lonely because you've met the divine within yourself. You begin to value silence not as emptiness, but as the highest form of communication with God. In silence, you can hear direction clearly. In stillness, you can sense the shift before it manifests. The noise that used to drown you no longer has access to your peace. This is the era of divine partnership. You are no longer striving alone. You are co-creating with heaven. You feel heaven's hand on your shoulder in every decision. The weight of confusion is replaced with clarity. The need for validation dissolves because you finally know whose approval matters. The mirror no longer reflects your flaws, it reflects your faith. You see yourself as God sees you, anointed, necessary, chosen. I remember when I reached this realization, I stopped rushing to prove that I was enough. I began to notice how peace followed obedience. The moment I stopped pushing and simply flowed, opportunities began to multiply. Not by effort, but by energy. That's when I understood alignment creates acceleration. The things I once chased started chasing me. People began to say, "You've changed." They were right. I had stopped trying to make things happen and started allowing God to make things happen through me. Chosen one, this is exactly where you are now. Heaven is pouring new authority into your spirit. It's not the loud kind that demands attention. It's quiet and weighty, felt rather than heard. Your words will begin to carry impact. You will speak less, but your presence will say more. That's the hallmark of divine maturity, when you no longer need to prove your anointing because your very life demonstrates it. By this time, you also begin to see your relationships transform. Those who drained you begin to fall away, and those who match your energy begin to appear. It's not personal, it's spiritual realignment. The vibration of your soul has risen, and not everyone can breathe at this altitude. This separation is not loss, it's promotion. God removes what can't follow you into the next dimension because He's preparing space for divine partnerships, connections that carry purpose, not just pleasure. The beauty of 40 is that you finally understand your assignment. You stop asking, "What is my calling?" and start living it. You realize your calling was never about a title, a platform, or a role. It was about impact. You were called to bring healing where there was hurt, light, where there was confusion, truth, where there was fear. Every experience, even the painful ones, gave you the compassion to do that. You've been equipped to serve, not just speak, to lead, not just follow, to build, not just believe. This is the turning point where heaven entrusts you with visible authority, financial provision, divine favor, open doors, and influence. But these are not rewards for endurance alone. They are tools for expansion. God can finally bless you publicly because He has refined you privately. He knows the abundance won't own you, the applause won't distract you, and the power won't corrupt you. You've passed the tests of ego, envy, and impatience. Chosen one. The next decade of your life will not resemble the past. The struggle was to shape your faith. Now comes the season of manifestation. You are entering a period where things will move quickly, not because you are forcing them, but because heaven is flowing through you. You are no longer waiting for alignment, you are the alignment. This is what it means for the life of a chosen one to begin at 40. It's not the beginning of age, it's the beginning of assignment. You are finally free from the illusions of the world and fully awake to your divine identity. You no longer live to be seen, you live to shine. Chosen one, this is your prophetic truth. You were never behind, never forgotten, never overlooked. You were simply hidden until it was time, and now that time has arrived. The waiting season is over. The revelation is here. Heaven is ready, and so are you. Chosen one, this is the moment where everything begins to converge. Every lesson, every loss, every delay now gathers into divine momentum. You've crossed the threshold from waiting to walking, from believing to becoming. You are no longer praying for a breakthrough, you are the breakthrough. The version of you that heaven has been shaping all these years is finally ready to emerge in full light. You see now that your story was never about survival. It was about revelation. The wilderness didn't destroy you, it refined you. It stripped away illusions, false attachments, and shallow pursuits until all that remained was truth. You learned that peace is not found in perfect circumstances, but in divine alignment. You discovered that success is not about accumulation, but about assignment. And now at 40, your spirit stands steady in this revelation. Nothing is missing, nothing is wasted, nothing is out of place. This is where the real life of a chosen one begins, when you stop asking for signs and start becoming one. You live in such a state of awareness that your very existence preaches. People look at you and sense God's presence, even if they can't explain it. Your silence becomes prophetic. Your presence carries healing. You no longer need to convince anyone of your purpose, you simply are it. I remember the moment this realization sank in. It wasn't in a church, nor in some grand experience. It came during an ordinary morning when I sat in stillness and felt a quiet knowing. You have nothing to prove, you already are the proof. Everything that I once chased was already within me. The peace I prayed for had been waiting for me to slow down and notice. That's when I understood heaven doesn't rush what it treasures. Chosen one, heaven has treasured you. That's why it took time. That's why certain blessings were delayed, because you were still becoming the kind of vessel that could sustain them. You don't build a palace overnight, and the same is true of divine destiny. Now the foundation is strong. The tests that once tormented you have become your training ground. You walk with quiet authority because you've seen what happens when you try to carry power before you're ready. At this point, life begins to open up in ways you couldn't have imagined. Relationships deepen, creativity expands, finances stabilize, and opportunities begin to flow with grace. But none of these things define you anymore. They simply reflect the wholeness you've already built within. The miracles no longer surprise you because you expect them. You've learned the rhythm of heaven when you move with peace. Doors open without resistance. Your faith is no longer just belief, it's embodiment. You walk in it, speak from it, breathe through it. You've learned that manifestation isn't about wishing, it's about alignment. When your energy, intention, and spirit are synchronized with God's will, everything begins to flow. And that flow, chosen one, is what 40 brings, divine synchronization. But there's something else that happens at this stage: compassion. You begin to love in a deeper, quieter way. You no longer judge others for their process because you remember how long it took for you to understand your own. You start to see humanity through heaven's eyes. Everyone is becoming, everyone is awakening, everyone is carrying unseen battles. You no longer try to fix people. You simply hold space for their healing. That is the heart of a chosen one: love, without control, guidance, without judgment, light without noise. This wisdom also brings clarity about purpose. You realize that your calling was never about doing more, it was about being more. You are here to embody divine truth in human form, to walk with grace, speak with peace, and live as evidence that God still transforms lives. You've become the message you once sought to deliver. That's why people are drawn to you. Now they feel the presence you carry. Chosen one, the life ahead of you will be nothing like the one behind. The next years will not be about trying to climb higher, but about expanding wider, spreading light, influence, and love to every space your spirit touches. Your prayers have matured from "God bless me" to "God use me." And because of that shift, heaven is multiplying everything in your hands. This is the age where your purpose produces prosperity, not just financially, but spiritually, relationally, and emotionally. The divine transfer has begun, and it won't come through effort, but through alignment. Doors will open because your heart is clean. People will appear because your energy calls them. Resources will flow because heaven trusts your stewardship. You've reached the stage where obedience is effortless and blessings are inevitable. You don't chase wealth, you carry wisdom, and wisdom attracts everything it needs. You don't run after opportunities, you rest and they find you. That's the supernatural rhythm of a chosen one who has fully awakened. And so as this new chapter unfolds, walk with quiet confidence. You are no longer seeking your destiny, you're standing in it. The shadows of your past have become your testimony, and your life itself is now the sermon. You are the fulfillment of every prayer you once whispered through tears. Chosen one. This is your divine beginning. The waiting season has ended. Heaven has confirmed your readiness. You've become the vessel God can now pour through, steady, refined, and radiant. The world may see you as 40, but heaven calls you eternal. This is your appointed hour. Step forward, your true life begins now. Chosen one, there comes a point in every divine journey where heaven begins to reorder your steps so completely that nothing looks the same, not your priorities, not your dreams, not even your pace. That point for many of God's anointed begins around 40. It's not just another birthday, it's a spiritual gateway. Something inside you begins to awaken that cannot go back to sleep. The years behind you start to reveal their meaning, and the road ahead begins to make sense in a way it never did before. For the chosen 140 is not the midpoint of life. It's the beginning of mastery. You've spent decades learning, falling, forgiving, rising again. You've wrestled with self-doubt, carried silent burdens, and walked through battles that no one else saw. But all of it, every moment of confusion, every unanswered prayer, every delay has been molding you into the person heaven always intended you to become. You now understand that divine timing has no deadlines. You see that nothing truly meant for you can ever pass you by. The false sense of urgency the world taught you begins to dissolve, replaced by deep trust. You've come to realize that your entire journey was never about speed, it was about strength. Heaven wasn't testing your patience, it was expanding your capacity. Because what's about to be placed in your hands now requires the endurance of someone who has walked through fire and learned to stand still in faith. At 40, your heart shifts. You no longer crave recognition, you crave resonance. You are no longer drawn to noise, but to peace. You stop running from solitude and begin to see it as sacred. Silence becomes your teacher. Reflection becomes your prayer. You discover that when everything else quiets, the divine voice within you becomes unmistakably clear. That still small voice that once whispered now speaks with authority, reminding you of who you've always been beneath the layers of fear and expectation. You begin to live differently. You no longer move with panic, you move with precision. Every yes becomes intentional. Every no becomes protection. You realize that the power of the chosen one lies not in constant motion, but in divine stillness, the ability to act only when heaven prompts you to. That's when life stops feeling like chaos and starts flowing like purpose. I know what it feels like to reach this point when the same things that once thrilled you now feel small, when what once drained you no longer holds power. You start to crave truth more than comfort. You start to prefer depth over distraction. You understand now that there's a difference between a busy life and a full one. The world celebrates movement. Heaven celebrates alignment. At this stage, divine alignment becomes your daily rhythm. You wake up with gratitude instead of anxiety. You begin to trust the timing of your blessings, knowing they will arrive exactly when they are supposed to, not a moment too soon, not a second too late. You start to notice divine patterns that were once invisible, repeated numbers, timely encounters, confirmations that appear like quiet echoes from heaven. These aren't coincidences. They're reminders that you are walking in rhythm with eternity. And in this rhythm, your purpose finally reveals itself not as a sudden revelation, but as a gentle unfolding. The same experiences that once seemed disconnected now form a clear picture. You realize why certain people had to leave, why certain seasons had to end, and why certain dreams had to wait. Everything was part of a larger choreography, a divine dance where every step, even the painful ones, was moving you closer to destiny. At 40, you stop asking for signs because you are the sign. You stop chasing blessings because you've become a blessing. You no longer fear endings because you've learned that resurrection is built into the rhythm of your life. You can feel the supernatural transfer taking place not only in the material sense, but in your spirit. You start to carry peace that cannot be stolen, wisdom that cannot be shaken, and power that cannot be explained. Your energy changes. People feel it before you speak. The same rooms that once felt too big for you now feel small, not because they've changed, but because you have. You carry a quiet authority not from ego, but from evolution. You don't need to defend your worth. Your presence does it for you. Chosen one, this is what divine maturity looks like. You've moved beyond striving into stewardship. You're no longer chasing what's next. You're nurturing what's now. You've learned that every moment, even the mundane ones, carries holiness when lived with awareness. The miracle is not what's coming, it's that you're finally awake enough to see it. So if you're at this stage, if you feel the pull to slow down, to simplify, to listen, know that it's not a sign of decline. It's a sign of ascension. Heaven is grounding you so it can grow you. You are standing in a portal of purpose, and what you carry now is too sacred to rush. The world may call 40 middle age. Heaven calls it divine readiness. You are no longer who you were. You are who you were always meant to be. The years ahead will not repeat the struggles behind you. They will reveal the rewards hidden within them. This is your awakening, your unfolding, your true beginning. The universe has been preparing for your arrival in this season. The waiting wasn't punishment, it was protection. And now that your spirit is refined, heaven can finally trust you with the fullness of what it promised. Chosen one, breathe deeply. You've made it through the fire and you've come out gold. Everything that once hurt you now serves you. Everything that once felt lost is returning in higher form. This is not a new chapter, this is the new book entirely. The life of a chosen one begins at 40, because at 40 the soul is finally mature enough to hold heaven's weight without breaking. And the best part, you're just getting started. Chosen one, as this message comes to its close, know this heaven has already moved on your behalf. The shift you've been waiting for isn't coming, it's here. The divine transfer has begun. Every year that felt delayed was only preparing the ground for this exact Kairos moment, your appointed time under heaven. You stand now in the center of divine alignment. What was hidden will soon be revealed. What was held back will be released in fullness. The doors that refused to open are now commanded to yield to your anointing. You are not at the end of a season, you are standing at the threshold of purpose, where wisdom, power, and peace flow together as one. Chosen one, walk forward with the assurance that the heavens recognize your name. The same God who guided you through obscurity is now preparing to crown you with visibility, favor, and fulfillment. Keep your spirit steady, your heart open, and your words aligned with faith, because what you speak now carries creative power. If this word has stirred something deep within you, let heaven hear your agreement. Type 1111 below as a prophetic sign that you are ready to receive what has already been written for you. Stay aligned, stay faithful, and stay awake to the rhythm of grace that surrounds you. You have stepped into your divine beginning, and the best chosen one is not just ahead, it has already begun.